Hello! Hello, hello, hello! Hi, 200 ponies! Hi, Jay! Oh my gosh! 90-day stream streak! Let's go, Jay! So close to 100! You can do it! Thank you, thank you, thank you! Hi, Jay! Hi, 200 ponies! Hi, Isadu! Hi, Caesar! Hi, everybody! Today, we are going back into our responsive web design lessons on Free Code Camp. Last time I finished all of the basic HTML. So now we have 55 steps of semantic HTML, 53 steps in forms and tables, and 55 steps in accessibility. And then we have like computers and then CSS. So I don't know if we'll get to CSS today, but I'll do as fast as I can. And I'm going to stop at 11 p.m. Eastern, which is in 3 hours, because I'm gonna take an hour to get my life together. This is gonna be my new routine. Every day, I'm gonna finish stream at 11, and from 11 to 12, I'm going to focus. Okay, let's go. Why you should care about semantic HTML. Semantics are the meanings of words or phrases in a language. In HTML, which is a language, elements have their own semantic meaning too. Hi, Esame! Hi! Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just getting started. We're learning about semantic HTML. I don't know what this is. I'm learning what it is right now. You can think of your HTML document like you would think of a text document. And much like a text document, you might have headings, images, bold text, and other formatting. The semantic meaning of an element refers to what special information that element conveys. The semantic meaning of a P element, for example, is a paragraph of text. Most elements have semantic meaning. The div element is one of the very few that does not. But why is this important? First and foremost, using proper semantic HTML will ensure the best experience for your users with assistive technologies like screen readers. But also, semantic HTML can improve your search rankings. This is referred to as search engine optimization, or SEO. That makes me wonder, so when they have strong and emphasis versus bold and italic, is that the semantic difference? Because I always wonder what the difference is between them, but I just never looked it up. Okay. Finally, using correct semantic elements can improve your development experience. Rather than having to sift through a bunch of developments to find your navigation bar, you can edit the nav element directly and know what you're changing. Throughout this section, you will also learn more about these topics, how to use semantic elements, and why semantic HTML is so important. Questions. What does semantic refer to? Nitpicking the code! I think it's this one. The meaning and structure of words and phrases in a language, right? Yeah. What element does not have semantic meaning? Div. Why should you care? All of the above. Yay! Let's speed through this if we can. Why is it important to have good structural hierarchy? This is something I struggle with. My code looks all like fucked up when I do it. The most important aspect. Oh my goodness! Thank you so much for subscribing for 14 months total. Thank you, Jamie. Happy anniversary. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for stopping by. It's good to see you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Why is it important to have good structural hierarchy? A good structural hierarchy? Rick C at the top. Dr. Fish is my deputy, and then all the French engineers underneath me. Wait. The French engineers have freedom and power too. Don't worry. Okay, the most important aspect of creating a structural hierarchy is the properties of heading elements. Heading elements are numbered as H1, H2, H3, and so on. These numbers represent the heading level for the element. Much like a text document, you do not want to use heading levels in the incorrect order. Okay. Your H2 element is your subheading. It should always come after your H1. Okay, I want to get through this fast, so I might not read it word for word. But I think I get the point. Yeah, unlike an H1 element, you can have multiple H2 elements on your page. So you should only have one on your page. I guess so. You often do this to delineate different sections of content. Following this pattern, your H3 element should come after the H2 element. You should never skip directly from H1 to H3. You can, however, have multiple heading elements at the same level. Okay, I see. Move the H2 element above the H3 element so this is semantically correct. Okay. It wants me to do this. Hi, Dono Thing! I'm learning semantic HTML. That's what I'm doing right now. So it wants me to move this. It wants me to move this. It wants me to change this to H2. And then this one to H3. Yeah. So they'll be in the right order. It may be tempting to use a specific heading element because of its styling, such as H1 for large text. Instead, you should choose the appropriate element for your document structure and use CSS to achieve the styling you like. Thank you for the burger. Gun to your head. Who's the cutest robot VTuber? Rixie Brightful! Wait, oh no! that sounds so conceited. I don't know. Dr. Fish. He doesn't consider himself a VTuber though. Yeah, he's a D-tuber, Dr. Tuber. I don't know. No, he's not. Anyways. Instead, you should... Okay, I read this already. Using the right hierarchy is important for accessibility. Assistive technologies like screen readers rely on the structure of the web page to determine how to parse and announce the web page to the user. Using the H2 element before H1 might cause a screen reader to believe that they have accidentally skipped over important content due to the lack of H2 element. Proper structure is also important for SEO. Search engines use automation to parse the content of your web page. Okay, I get it. I am the cutest. Aw, I appreciate it. Thank you. Finally, depending on how incorrect your structure is, your HTML may not even be technically valid. When this happens, the web browser has to effectively guess what you mean to do. I don't know if I believe that. Oh my gosh, Dodo Dang! 105! Thank you so much, Dodo Dang. You're awesome. I appreciate you. I'm so happy to see you every day. Alright, so hierarchy. I thought when they were talking about structural hierarchy, I didn't realize they were talking about headings. I thought they were talking about like the way the code is like indented. Aw, thank you, Dodo Dang. Okay, why is structural hierarchy important? All of the above. Which heading elements should precede H2? Aw, thank you. How should you create larger text on your page? Use any element you want and style it with CSS. Use the correct structural element and style with CSS. This one. Yay! Next one. What is the difference between presentational and semantic HTML? Presentational HTML focuses on the appearance and style of content. In the early days of HTML, developers would use elements like the center, big, and font elements. But in modern web development, you shouldn't use these types of elements because of their limitations and negative impact on accessibility and maintainability. Many presentational HTML elements are deprecated, meaning they are outdated and no longer recommended. I think it's because you can use CSS now, right? There are better ways to get the same result. However, it is helpful to know that they exist. The font element is a deprecated element used to set the font size and color of text. I used to use the font element back when I only knew HTML and not CSS. I mean, you can't edit the CSS on Neopets, so I had to use this on Neopets. Here's an example of the font element. Use the enable the interactive editor and change the font size from 5 to 7. Yeah, so you would use this to edit the size and the color of the font. This example sets the color of the text to blue and the size to the value of 5. The range for the size is 1 to 7, with 1 being the smallest and 7 being the largest. The default is 3. Alright, so it still works, but you should not use it because the font size and color should always be set in CSS, not HTML. Unless you're on Neopets. I wonder what happens if you try to use an iframe on Neopets. It probably just blocks it. Anyways, the center element is another deprecated element that is used to center the content horizontally within the container. Okay. Add center tags around another example of text to center it. Yeah. So we just do this. I remember using these. Yeah. And then we have the big element. I don't think I ever used this one. This is another deprecated presentational HTML element that makes the enclosed text one level bigger than the surrounding text. Interesting. Enable the interactive editor and add big tags around the some other text to see the preview. Okay. Big. Puts this around your penis. Puts big tags around your penis even though they're deprecated. Anyways. Put small tags around your penis when I'm mad at you. No. When I want it to be extra cute sized. Okay. Remember that font size should always be set with CSS, so you should not use the element in modern HTML. These are examples of presentational HTML elements. What should you use instead? Semantic HTML is a recommended practice. It describes the content of the elements and is much easier to read. Search engines can easily understand your website when you use semantic HTML. So here's some examples of semantic HTML. The header element for defining the header of the document. The navigation section element, nav, for sections with navigation links. The section element for grouping related information. The figure element for illustrations and diagrams. Here is an example of a header element that contains a navigation section element. Enable the interactive editor and add a href equals hashtag products inside the nav and see the changes in the preview window. Okay. Wait. Inside of the nav. Okay. Oh, add it here. Okay, and then it adds another link here. Although, you see what I mean when I say I have trouble with the indenting? I think I was supposed to put it here, technically. But you see how it's, like, not indented properly? I guess I put, like, 2 tab. I have to use you learn to use my tab key effectively. Alright, these semantic elements clearly show their purpose within the HTML structure. Alright, great work. Now you know the difference. Yay! Alright, question time. Which of the following best describes the difference between presentational and semantic HTML? Presentational focuses on content structure, semantic focuses on appearance. No, I think it's the other way around. Semantic focuses on content structure, and presentational focuses on appearance. Yeah, that one. Hi, Toaster! Hi! I wonder if I can program a toaster once I learn all this. Probably not after HTML. Maybe after more advanced coding. But hello, hope you're doing good. Which of the following is an example of presentational HTML? Hey, alright, the center one. Center. Which of the following is an example of semantic HTML? Nav. Yay! How many steps was that? 4 steps? 5 steps? Probably less. Probably more. Also, you guys, the peanut butter and jelly Lunchable is a complete scam. You guys, it was the tiniest little, it was like an Uncrustable sandwich, but smaller. I was like, there's no way I paid $3 for this. I'm never buying those again. Although I already bought like 5 of them, so I'll have to eat all 5 of them, but not worth it, you guys. Not worth it, even though they were on sale. Anyways, that was 3 steps. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's power through. Let's power through. Okay, when you should use the emphasis element over the idiomatic. Idiomatic? I thought it was italic. Okay, this is going to answer an important question for me because I don't understand the difference. These elements are very close related to the concepts of presentational and semantic HTML. The idiomatic text element I was originally used for presentational purposes to display the text in italics. Idiomatic? I thought it was I for italic. I feel stupid. But now it is frequently used for highlighting alternative voice or mood, idiomatic terms from another language, technical terms, and thoughts. Here's an example from the official HTML spec using the I element to show an idiomatic phrase in French. Je ne sais quoi. Anyways, the lang attribute inside the open I tag is used to specify the language of the content. Oh. Interesting. In this case, the language would be French. The I element does not indicate if the text is important or not. It only shows that it's somehow different from the surrounding text. I never knew this! If you do need to emphasize the importance of the text, you can use a similar semantic element called the emphasis element, EM. This is usually recommended if you need to provide more context. You should use this element for parts of the text that require special emphasis compared to surrounding text. It's usually limited to only a few words because it can alter the meaning of the sentence. This is an example of the emphasis element. Never give up on your dreams. You should give up on everybody else's dreams, though. I remember I saw a meme that was like, it was like when you want to emphasize a word, but you don't want to use underline or bold. It is like the humble italic, and it was like a guy just leaning over. HTML, more like, hi there, my lady. What the fuck? Hi, Blue. Hi. I just learned that the I tag in HTML doesn't stand for italic. It stands for idiomatic text. My whole life has changed. Anyways, now you can see the sentence, never give up on your dreams. Notice that the word your will be emphasized because it's inside the element. Hi, Amadeus! Rixie Lixie the Paxi. I don't think that's how it works, you guys. It's italics, I'm not remembering that. Okay, fair enough. All right, notice that the word your will be emphasized because it's inside the element. In the browser, you would see the word your italicized to tell the readers this is important. Okay, even if it looks the same, the text that it's inside the idiomatic text element, the semantic emphasis element conveys its meaning and importance behind the scenes. It's important to know that these elements should not be used for presentational purposes only. If you need to display the text in italics, but the text does not have a special purpose, style, or meaning in the paragraph, you should use CSS instead! Okay, fine. Which HTML element is used to differentiate text from its surrounding content without conveying specific importance? I. Yeah. When should you use CSS instead of I or EM? When the text... Wait, when you want to display the text in italics for presentational purposes only. What is the primary difference? I indicates the text is different from the surrounding content, while M emphasizes important text. Yes, this one. Okay. Let's go. Next one. When you should use a strong element over the bring attention element. They're fucking with me. They're fucking with me. B. So not only is the I not italics, it's idiomatic, but the B is not bold. It's bring attention to. They're just making shit up. This can't be true. This can't. What? No way. Guys, what is it? 20 years. 20 years I've been doing HTML technically, I think, something like that. And I never knew this. The bring attention to element B is commonly used to highlight keywords and summaries or product names in reviews. Usually browsers display this as text in boldface. Here's an example using the B element to highlight product names and reviews. Oh my gosh. The browser renders these parts of the text as bold text. This visual emphasis will draw readers' attention to the product names. If you need to emphasize the importance of the text, you should use a strong element instead of the B element. Strong is semantic HTML element that emphasizes text as crucial or urgent. I think they're doing this is easier to remember, but idiomatic, bring attention to, is easier to understand than bold. I don't know. I know the idiomatic had something to do with like language. It was originally used to like italicize words in other languages, so that almost makes sense. But the bring attention to one is what's throwing me out. There's no way they didn't mean bold. Come on now. Anyways, a strong-willed element? A strong-willed element will not italicize. Alright, this is an example when a strong element is used to label very important warning about potential allergic reactions. Warning! This product may cause allergic reactions. Warning! This product may cause attraction reactions. That's for Rixie streams. The strong element communicates a sense of urgency. Visually, they're both similar because they're both rendered in bold, but their meaning is quite different. While the bring attention to element only draws attention to the text without indicating the higher level of importance, the strong element does more than that. They both do the same damn thing. Fuck you. Okay. Which HTML element is used to draw attention to a specific part of the text without conveying specific importance? It is the B. The bring attention to. Which HTML element is used to indicate text that is especially important or urgent? This is like the bring attention to. It makes me think of like when they'll name a law like the freedom law, but it's like the freeing retired expats, especially a dominant oracles Mondays. It's like the freaking name of the bill. They decided they're gonna call it the Freedom Bill first, so they just figured out the acronym later. It was actually redefined to mean bring attention to. So it used to be bold, and then they changed it to bring attention. I don't know, man. Anyways, which HTML element is used to indicate the text is especially important? Strong. So wait, there's a difference between emphasis and strong too. Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say there's a difference between italic and bold. All right. What is the primary difference between B and strong? B is for visual emphasis, while strong is for emphasizing importance. I think it's this one. Okay, next one. Let's drink some soda. The U isn't underlined. It's utterly amazing highlighting. I know, right? We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out so much about, so many lies about freaking what it all stands for. Alright, what are description lists, and when should you use them? Description lists are perfect for presenting terms and definitions in an organized and easy to read format, like a glossary or real dictionary, where you can find words with their corresponding definitions. This is an example of a description list in HTML with 2 terms and their corresponding details. Enable the interactive editor and try uncommenting the code to see the new detail items show up in the preview window. Okay. Uncomments your comments. Alright, Dee. Wasn't Dee the name of one of the Analyze mascots? Alright, so DL, DT, DD, DT, DD, DT, DD. Okay, I see how it works. Alright, in this case, the terms... excuse me. That's how I feel about this whole bring attention to nonsense. Unarticulated through explicitly rendered non-textual annotation. Okay. The details could be definitions, other information. Alright, you will need 3 HTML elements to define a description list. First, the description list element, DL, which is a container for the entire list. Then the description term element, DT, for each term. Alright, so description list, description term, and description details. Okay. In the browser, you should see each term followed by its corresponding description. By default, descriptions are slightly more indented. They are not limited to terms and definitions. They are much more versatile than that. Here we have a recipe with 2 ingredients. Enable the interactive editor and uncomment the code to see the new details. Okay. Flour, sugar, vegetable oil. What are we making? Pita bread? I don't know. The entire description list is within a description list element. The ingredient flour is within a description term element. And then how much ingredient you'll need, 2 cups. This is within a description details element. Okay. Blah, blah. You should see the ingredient list aligned to the left and the measurements indented to separate them visually. Other use cases for description lists include product specifications, frequently asked questions, content information, and metadata. Essentially, when you have 2 related pieces of information in a key value pair form, where one acts as a label, the other acts as an additional relational information in the value, you could use a description list. You can hack cooking? Sure, yeah. Hack a recipes website and make all the ingredients poisonous. Just kidding. The point of the new element description is to describe how they affect the content in cases where it is not just displayed text. A screen reader, TTS, will read italicized text with a different voice inflection, but will read B text with a standard one. Oh, okay. So I can definitely listen. I can see the. Okay, listen. No. I can see the difference. I can definitely see the difference between the emphasis and the italic and the bold and the strong. What I can't see is the fact that B is bring attention to instead of that's what's throwing me off. Looks like they wanted to remove explicit styling from HTML tags. The tags were redefined to have a semantic meaning with CSS for styling. Yeah, so they were like, we don't need it. HTML, you don't need to style anymore. We've got a style guy. Stop styling. You got me. Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you for adopting me. I will be the best Pokemon ever. Interesting. Okay. Which HTML tag is used to define an entire description list? DL. A term, DT. And then detail, ZD. Yippee! We've got a style guy. His name's Claude. The confusion is this website made it seem like these letters always stood for those things. This is propaganda. Okay. Next one. Okay, here's a preview of what you will build. A list of major web browsers. Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Brave, Arc. No Edge! There's no Edge. Interesting. Interesting decision to omit Edge. All right, in this workshop, you're going to build a list of major web browsers. The HTML boilerplate has been provided. Let's start by adding a heading to your page that reads list of major web browsers using an h1 element inside the body element. No edging. No edging. All right, because Edge barely counts as a web browser, even though that's what I'm using right now. All right. So we're going to do H1, list of major web browsers. Alright. As you recall from the earlier lesson, description lists are used to present terms and definitions. Here's an example. Below the H1 element, create a DL element. Alright. This is a description list, not down low list. See, this is where I struggle, is like the indents. Like, should this be indented here? Or should it be indented here? I guess it should be indented here. I don't know. Alright. Description lists are made up of lists of terms. Okay, we know this. Inside your DL element, add a DT element containing the text Google Chrome. Alright. Google Chrome. Below your DT element, add a DD element with the following text. Alright, so we'll just copy this. It was released in 2008. There are people in this world who are younger than Google Chrome. That's crazy. Alright. Below your Google Chrome entry, add a DT for Firefox. Okay. Why is this? I'm gonna try to keep things organized. Would it be Mozilla Firefox? Excuse me, oops. Why is it like, oh, whatever. I'll understand how to use code editors one day. I know there will be kids who never grew up without AI. It's gonna be interesting to see how that goes. Alright, next we're gonna do DT. See, it's like, you see how like starts it all the way over here? I don't really know what to do about that. I'm just gonna leave it, whatever. I'll figure out how to style things properly later. How to like indent things properly later. Alright. Safari. Alright, and now Brave. DT. Brave. DD. Copy. Brave is only that old. Oh, 2016. 2016 was 10 years ago! Ah! Oh, I was like, it's only been around for a few years. 10 years! Ah, I'm gonna shrivel up into a raisin. It's okay. All right, and now Arc. Oof. It's funny. There's a pet and Neopet. Guys, I've been playing Neopets all day at work. I was playing. Oh well, okay, not on my work computer. I was playing it on my iPad during work. Okay. I was playing Neopets on my iPad during work. I was being bad. And there's a pet that's just called like Oof. It's called like UGFHH or something. And I was like, honestly, that's how I feel too. And it's like a dead fish. is the Neopet. I mean the pet. Okay. You're a kid when 9/11 happened. Yeah, the kids these days don't know. What? But 2016 was just 3 years ago. I don't know about that. Alright. Good job, good job. Next. Alright. How do block and inline quotes work in HTML? In HTML, quoted elements are used to distinguish quoted text from the surrounding content. You should use block quotation elements to represent a section quoted from another source. It's mainly used for extended quotations. If the source of the quote has an address, you can cite it with a cite attribute. The value of this attribute should be a valid URL. This is an example of a quote within a block quotation element. Okay, I see. But it's so... This citation is for what purpose if they're not going to see it? I don't know. This element has a cite attribute. The value of the cite attribute is the URL of the source. While this attribute doesn't change the presentation of block quote, it's very helpful for giving screen readers and search engines more information about the quote. Okay. So do only people with screen readers get the juicy deets about, like, where the quote came from? In the browser, you'll see that the text is slightly indented. If you want to start and end the block quote with quotation marks, you may need to write them explicitly within the text. You can write the text directly within a block quotation element, just like I did, or wrap it with one or more paragraph elements. This is helpful when the text has multiple paragraphs, but you want to keep them within the same block quote. Here's an example with 4 paragraphs. All the paragraphs are contained within the same block quotation element, so they are part of the same quotation. You can see the element has a cite attribute with the URL of the source. Okay. The attribute doesn't really show the source to the user. It only works behind the scenes. If you want to attribute the source visually, you can add a citation element outside of the block quotation element. This is different from the cite attribute. Citation element is an HTML element that you can use to mark up the title of a referenced creative work like a book, article, song, film, website, or research paper. Okay. I see. It makes it italic. It's all italics. Everything is italics. EMI, cite. Everything is italics. The block quote element contains quoted text. Below the element, you can see a paragraph element with the name of the author, followed by a citation element. The citation element contains the title of the book. If you go to the browser, now the source will be clearly visible and see the quote comes from the book. Okay. You should use block quotes like this for long quotations from other sources. Sometimes you will only need to quote a few words within a larger paragraph. That's exactly what an inline quotation element is for. It's short for inline quotations from another source, from other sources. Does anybody actually use that? I mean, I guess some people do, but most modern browsers will add quotation marks around the inline quote automatically when you use this element. Or you could just type it out. I don't know. You can see a paragraph element that contains text. Part of the text is an inline quote because it's within the inline quotation element. You can also add a cite attribute to attribute the source. It works the same. In the browser, you'll see the quoted text as part of the paragraph surrounded by quotation marks. What's the difference? You should use block quotes for extended quotations and inline for short quotations. I mean, do people do I know that the purpose of this is probably like for, I don't know, SEO or something, but I don't know. I'm not gonna, I don't feel the need to write out HTML every time I quote somebody. All right, wait, give me a second. Let me blow my nose. Sorry, that was a gross one. I should have muted for that one. My bad. Alright. But you guys, I was playing Neopets today. I have 80,000 Neo points now. I have 80,000 Neo points from my shop. From quests, and I found out you can get rich quick. You can get rich quick by linking, if you link your Neopets account to the other Neopets games that you can download on your phone, which I'm going to do later, you get 200,000 Neo points per quest. You can get rich so fast. So I'm going to do that at some point and get rich, but for now, I don't need that much. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be balling for sure. I've been reselling. I've been doing my quest. I've been trading lots. Well, during work, I know. Well, I've been doing it like where I'll like work. I'll work for like half an hour, and then I'll play Neopets for like 5 minutes, and then I'll work for half an hour, and then I play Neopets for 5 minutes. Sometimes I spend a little more than 5 minutes, though, to be fair. Anyways. And then I'll also like just obsessively like refresh my shop, even when I'm like in the middle of work. I'll like refresh my shop to see if anything's sold. Wolf of Neopets? I don't know. So the really rich people on Neopets have like billions of Neopoints. I only have 80,000 right now. Anyways, moving on. I have like 50 burgers in my gallery. How do I concentrate? I don't know. I'm pretty okay at multitasking like that, honestly. Like usually I'm pretty. Well, it depends. It depends on what I'm multitasking. Because doing it with Neopets, it didn't really bother me. But there's some things I can't multitask. Like, I can't like read and work. I can't like read a book and work. I can't stream. I certainly could not stream and work. I can't have a conversation and work. Not even a digital conversation. But I can refresh my Neopet shop. Anyways. Which HTML element is used for displaying extended quotations? Block quote. What is the purpose of the cite element? Specify the source URL of a quote. Wait. The element. Mark up the title of the referenced work. Yeah. Okay. I almost got that one wrong. Which HTML attribute is used to specify the source? That's cite. So cite. It is cool that Neopets is still running. I kind of hope that Neopets has like a revival. I don't know. I mean, they're doing a lot. Listen, Neopets is doing a lot. Neopets, like, they have a TCG. They have like a collaboration with Monopoly. They have a collaboration with Habbo Hotel, which apparently still exists. Like, they're still doing stuff. It's just like not anywhere anybody who matters can see. Maybe they need better marketing. I don't know. They should play up the nostalgia angle. They should play up the nostalgia angle, and they should like I don't know. They should definitely like try to get more people who used to play it like to come back to it. Monopoly, so hip with the kids. Well, that's the thing. I don't think they should try to market to new kids. I think they should try. I mean, eventually, I guess they have to market to new kids like at some point to like keep refreshing their stock of people. But like, I do think that they could have a resurgence if they like you know, played the nostalgia card. Yeah. But you guys, I remember that you used to like get banned on Neopets if like you said gay or something. Listen, this was like, keep in mind, this is like what, 2012, 2000, probably earlier than that actually. This is like maybe like 2009, okay? On the forums, like people would be like comment on this board if you support LGBT, but they would like spell it weird so that like they didn't get filtered. And then like that's where like people would get into arguments, and I would get into arguments because I was like, you know, I was like, what, like 12 years old, being like, it's okay to be gay. You know, it's like, add the icon to your DeviantArt to show that you support gay, right? But like, you would get like banned if you actually said the word gay, so you had to say like gay G at Y. And now, okay, but the reason I'm bringing this up, is because now they have like pronoun pin like item, like they have a pronoun pin like item and like pride flag items and like the Neopets Mall. I'm like, wow, how things have changed. When are you gonna pay reparations? When are you gonna pay reparations to the users who got banned for saying gay in 2010? Okay, come on. Anyways. Moving on. All right. How do you display abbreviations in HTML? An abbreviation is shortened form of a word or phrase. For example, how do you display abbreviations? Type them out. Okay. Anyways, I'm probably being dumb. There's probably like a very valid reason why this is a thing. But anyways, doctor followed by period is an abbreviation for the word doctor. There are two common forms of abbreviations, acronyms and initialisms. An acronym is a word formed from the initial letters of a phrase, with each letter representing the first letter of the word in the phrase. It's the power of furries. Do you think that most people playing Neopets are furries nowadays? I don't know, maybe. GUI is an example of an acronym. It stands for Graphical User Interface, GUI. By taking the first letter of each word, GUI, you get the acronym GUI. An initialism is formed from the initial letters of a phrase, with each letter representing the first letter. Wait. the initial letters of a phrase with each letter representing the first letter of a word in that phrase. Wait, what's the difference? Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, what's the difference? An acronym is formed from the initial letters of a phrase, which each letter representing the first letter of a word in that phrase. An initialism is formed from the initial letters of a phrase, with each letter representing the first letter of a word in that phrase. That's the same. Is that not the same thing? Am I fucking stupid? Help me out. Help me out. Am I dumb? Am I dumb? Hi, Mango. Hi, hi. An acronym is a word formed from the initial letters of a phrase, which each letter representing the first letter of a word in that phrase. An initialism is formed from the initial letters of a phrase, with each letter representing the first letter of a word in that phrase. Am I going crazy? That's the same exact thing. Am I insane? That's the same exact thing that they just said. Or is it an initialism? Are they saying an initialism is not a word? Are they saying an acronym is a word and initialism is not a word? Is that the difference? That's the only difference I can see from these two sentences. For example, HTML is an initialism. It stands for hypertext markup language. It is pronounced by spelling out. Oh, is it the pronunciation? Do people say GUI? I think I've heard people say GUI before. People don't say HTML. An acronym is a word, and initialism is not. Okay. HTML. Both acronyms and initialism. The next. Oh, okay. Thank you, Jay. I didn't read ahead. Both acronyms and initialisms are types of abbreviations. The distinction is acronym. Thank you. Acronyms are pronounced as words, and initialisms are pronounced as individual letters. Okay, sorry. My bad. I should have read. My bad. They are very helpful for writing more concise text, especially when they are well known and easy to understand in a given context. If you need to display abbreviations such as acronyms or initialisms in HTML, the abbreviation element is exactly what you're looking for. You should always explain their full meaning when you use them for the first time. Then you use the abbreviation element to highlight them and provide more details. For example, here's an example where you can see a paragraph with the sentence, HTML is the foundation of the web. ABBR, abbreviation. The initialism of HTML is within an abbreviation element. In the browser, you'll see that nothing has really... excuse me. Aw, thank you, Jay. Thank you for forgiving my my hysterics. I'm sorry. The initialism of HTML is within an abbreviation element. In the browser, you'll see that nothing has really changed. It still looks like normal text. The abbreviation element is providing helpful context behind the scenes. If you want to help users understand what this initialism means, you can show its full form with the title attribute. The title attribute is optional, but if you decide to include it, it must be a human-readable description of the abbreviation, acronym, or initialism. Let's take the example as before, but add the title attribute. It will be hypertext markup language, the expanded form of initialism. Okay, I see. I see how this works. Oh, they put a little, oh, and then when you hover, you can see what it's saying. Oh, okay. Usually, but can I do this? Can I put like abbreviation, like Rixie Brifle, and then like have the title be like little bitch? A dumb little bitch. That would be funny. Anyways, usually the style of the abbreviation element will change when you add this attribute. The specific style will depend on the browser. Some browsers may display a dotted underline. Some browsers may display a dotted underline, while others will convert the contents to small caps. When the user hovers over the abbreviation, the full form is displayed as a tooltip. Wait, I don't know. Can you guys see that? Oh, you guys can't see the tooltip thing. But it says hypertext markup language. Yeah, you can't see when I hover like that, but I can see it. Kind of like how you can't see the navigation bars usually through OBS. Anyways, while you don't necessarily need to use the abbreviation element for every abbreviation, it's recommended for those that might be unclear. You should use your best judgment. Okay. This one. Primary purpose is the style text as abbreviation to indicate an abbreviation or acronym and provide additional information. This one. Which attribute can be used? The title. Alright. Yay! How do you display addresses in HTML? Uh-oh, don't display your addresses in HTML. That's doxing. Don't do that. Don't self-dox. Just kidding. The contact address element is used to represent contact information for a section in a web page. The address element is versatile and can be used for business pages, other pages, personal sites, and more. When it comes to building out your website's contact section, you should use the semantic address element over a generic element like div. Here's an example using the address element for a company contact page. Okay. Address. Oh, banana! In this example, there is a company name, physical address, phone, and email. For the physical address, the line break element BR is used to show the division between the street name, city, and country. Okay. For the phone number, we have an anchor element with the ref value set for telephone numbers. Oh. Oh, thank you. The telephone number value inside the ref attribute creates a clickable link to initiate a phone call on certain devices that support it. This is random. I was kind of well. It's not completely random. I was thinking of examples when you would use the telephone value, and I was thinking like when you when you search like a store and then it pulls up the phone number, you can click it to call. And it reminds me of when I tried to call a local fast food restaurant. I think it was like McDonald's or Burger King or something. I tried to call my local fast food restaurant because I had fucked up my online order and I needed to like cancel it. So like I just looked up like my town name, like Burger King or whatever, and then I just clicked the phone number that came up on like the Google overview. And it like rang and then it went to a voicemail. It went to a voicemail of a guy and he was like, "Hey, I'm just trying to find anybody who's trying to sell some pussy." Their phone number and said that they were the local McDonald's on fucking Google. Yeah, it was the wrong phone number, so I had to like, it wasn't the AI, this was before AI overviews. This was like the Google business overview. I wonder if he got any pussy. Anyways, this is like the Google business overview, which like it'll show like, you know, like the business with like a map and everything, and then they have like the contact information, the hours and everything. So I thought it was legit. I just, so I ended up having to go directly to like their website to find it. Anyways, hi Arpix, hi. Anyways, am I winning? Yeah, I think I am. I'm learning. I'm certainly learning. All right. So, we got the telephone value, we've got the email. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I think it's this new soda. It's this generic soda. I think it's a combination of me drinking this generic soda and then yapping so much and swallowing air while I'm yapping. Pussy from McDonald's callers? I don't know. I don't know how that happened, but it was pretty funny. Anyways. So the email address, okay, one of the downsides of using a mail to link is users often perceive it as spam. Unfortunately, a lot of spammers will use this option to send emails to users. So just keep that in mind. Oh, okay. What is the purpose of using the address element? To define a section to represent contact information. The mail to is used to open a new email. What's the downside? Spam. Links are targeted for spammers. Yay! Okay, dates and times in HTML. Oh, did you see, didn't Discord add like a timestamp thing now? So you don't have to use one of those external websites? I don't know, that's just a random fact. Hi, Souffle, hi. Alright, the time element is used to represent a specific moment in time. Here's an example using the time element to represent 2000 hours, or 8 p.m. in the evening. Date, time. Interesting. The datetime attribute is used to translate dates and times into a machine-readable format. This is important because it helps with search engine results and helps the browser process date and time more efficiently. The value for the datetime attribute must be either a valid year, valid month, valid time, local date, global date, or valid duration string. Here's another example of using the time element to represent a particular date. Okay, I'm not gonna remember all this. How you're supposed to format it. The value for the datetime attribute is in the ISO 8601 format. ISO 8601 is an international standard to represent dates and times. The first part of that value is the year, month, and day. The capital T in the value is a separator between the date and the time. Oh, okay, I see. That's not that hard to remember. The 1500 hours would be 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Whenever you need to represent events, publication, dates, or appointments, it's best to use the time element. Okay. What is the correct format? It is year, month, date. This one. Yeah. Alright, what does the capital T represent? Separator between day and time. Yay! Next one. Yay! We're gonna build something. 65 stream streak, let's go! Arpex! You're doing awesome! Thank you so much for watching me for over 2 months! Oh my goodness! I'm so flattered. Streak is safe. Yeah, I hope you guys don't get too stressed out about the streaks. I'm sorry. I am very impressed by streaks since I also am a streak partaker. But don't worry if you don't have a streak. I still love you just as much. Yeah. Thank you. Alright. Quincy's tips for getting a developer job. Okay, we'll start coding. So, in this workshop, we will practice working with semantic HTML, build a web page that includes some of Quincy Larson's tips for landing a developer job. Alright, H1 element, this one. For our mental health, let's all, except me, break our streaks. It's okay. Let's go streaking. Yeah, alright. Aww, that's so sweet. I love you guys so much. You're awesome. Okay. Yay! Now we're gonna create a paragraph, and we'll just copy and paste. We'll just copy and paste what it says here. But I love learning with you guys and chatting with you guys. I can't wait to collect more burgers. When I collect 100 burgers, I'll post it on Twitter. Right now I have 50 burgers. I'm telling you guys, once I get to like higher numbers of burgers, the hard part is gonna be upgrading my gallery repeatedly, because they keep increasing the cost to upgrade your gallery, and you only get like 5 more slots every time you upgrade. Hi Pax! Hi! How you doing? How are you doing? Close to cracking the nuke codes? Not really. I learned how to put an address and a time on a web page. That's what I learned so far. Also, I learned that the B and the bold and italics tab are not actually the bold and italics tab. Sorry, I'm like blowing my nose again. Sorry, give me a second. Here, wait, let me get fresh. Is there a napkin in here? This is my fast food bag from like yesterday. There's a napkin. Yeah. The bold and italics tag are not actually bold and italic. They're actually idiomatic text and bring attention to. It's what they supposedly stand for. You like that, Caesar? All right then. Since you keep bringing me furry stuff, I was thinking it would be funny to do a Neopets smash tier list of which Neopets I would smash. Which Neopets I would smash. Or just like a Neopet tier list in general. Anyways. Okay. So, quotation. Quoted text. Inside the paragraph wrap, you can become a developer with an inline quotation element. Okay. Yippee! Alright, if the source of the code is a website, you can cite it with the cite attribute. Alright, so we're gonna cite this here. Yippee! Below the paragraph element, add a main element and nest 3 section elements underneath it. Okay. Section 1, section 2. Here, let's copy and paste. Alright. In the first section, add an H2 element with the text envisioning success. Visioning success. Alright, we got a little ad thingy. I kind of want to try out the other Neopets games. Maybe they'll be fun. Because you can earn Neo points by playing those games. Because it's all connected to the same account, basically. So, that could be fun. Alright. Rating chat furries? What do you mean? Are y'all furries? I can't rate chats for sodas. I'm gonna be biased and say that you're all the best for sodas ever. Okay. Let's see. Block quote. So it says inside the first section, add a block quote. Below the H2 element with this quote. Okay. We send a furry pic and you rate it. I think that's just a you thing, Caesar. I mean, I could do like a rate your personas, but I feel like I don't really have the authority to do that since I'm not a furry. All right. Block quote. All right. So we're gonna cite it. Cite. With this URL. Okay, below the block quote, add a paragraph element with the text. Okay. So we'll just copy and paste this in. I'm not a furry. I'm a hag brain. A hag brain. That's just someone. It's just like a hag admirer. Okay. So far, you've been using the cite attribute to cite the source. If you want to cite it visually, you can use the cite element. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna put this in the cite element. Hag on hag return. Alright, inside the second section, add the H2. Importance of networking. Below this heading, add a block quotation with a cite attribute to here. Yay! You can write the quoted text directly within the block quotation element, like you did with the first section. Alternatively, you can wrap it within one or more paragraph elements. Okay, so we want to do it in 4 paragraph elements. So we'll take this. Let's just take all this at once, and then we'll just wrap all the paragraphs around it. create GitHub, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Discord accounts. Okay. In the third and last section element, you're going to create the same HTML structure. Add an H2 element with the importance of building a reputation. Building a reputation. Oh my gosh, there was actually I could talk about it during tech chat, but there is a online browser game called Nation States. I played it one time. I played it before. I usually make my country like a child-free haven and make reproducing illegal. Anyways, they had a guy that was doing like he was like doing pen testing, but he kind of crossed the line and like copied everybody's data or something, and then he was like, sorry, I won't do it again, and like they had to shut down the whole website. It was a whole thing. Anyways, I could talk about it during tech chat, but I just randomly thought of that. I don't know why I thought of that, but I just did. Anyways, I think the word reputation maybe maybe because I was like, that guy ruined his reputation. Anyways, I'm keyword matching in my RoboBrain. Alright, below the HTML element, add a block quotation. Alright. God damn it, I feel like I have, like, still have something in my nose. In my robo nose. Alright. Ugh. I'm okay. Okay. Block quote. Site. Copy and paste this. Block quote. And then these paragraphs. It's funny, they have something called prompted playlists in Spotify now. And I made a prompted playlist for lo-fi for work. And they put Kanye songs on there. So I'm like, I changed it to instrumental lo-fi and they fixed it. Not to distract, but do you see the Sam Altman post? Oh god, what did he say? No? Which one? What did he say? I know, Claude, like, has a Super Bowl ad, like, clowning on ChatGPT for adding ads. I know that, but I did not see the Sam Altman post. What did he say? Alright, how do you display a mathematical equation and chemical formulas in HTML? The superscript element is used to display a piece of text as a superscript. A superscript symbol is a symbol or letter printed above the normal line of text. He made a huge bent post about it? Oh boy! I'm excited to read it. Can we read it? Can we read it during tech chat? A long one? Oh boy! I'll read it. I'll do a dramatic reading during tech chat. I will. Okay, I promise. I did not see it, no. I did hear about the ad though. Oh boy. Wait, is the Super Bowl... The Super Bowl didn't happen, right? The Super Bowl is this weekend? When is the Super Bowl? I'm not a big sports person. This Sunday? Oh! When is it? When does it start? 6:30? I don't know if you could do... I don't think they do Super Bowl watch along. It's okay. I'll have my... my human family used to watch the Super Bowl together, but I don't think that we're doing anything. But I guess I'll have a... Long rant! I don't know. I kind of just like the Super Bowl. It gives me an excuse to order a bunch of wings and pretend I'm celebrating the Super Bowl, but really I'm just sitting there eating wings. Anyways, where was I? Alright, here's an example of using a superscript element to illustrate exponents. Oh, it's okay, Dono Thing. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so happy to have you here. I'll see you again later. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. All right. Hi, Tyler. Hello, hello. How you doing? All right. So we've got superscripts. I know superscript. I know. This example, the number 2 is wrapped in super tags to represent the superscript. I know this because I'm pretty sure they had these in built-in board code as well, like the sup and the sub. You don't want to learn how to code? Then leave! No, I'm kidding. You can stay, but that's what I'm doing today. I'm learning how to code. All right, right now I'm learning how to use superscript tags and subscript tags, I think. All right, common use cases would be exponents, superior lettering, and ordinal numbers. Here's an example using the superscript element for superior lettering. Okay, Monsignor is often written as strong, sup, strong. Okay. You better start learning code, boy. Alright, superior lettering refers to letters written in superscript, usually to indicate abbreviations. The letters G and R are wrapped in superscript tags. By 2030, every job will involve a little bit of code cleanup. You think? Yeah. Your government-mandated coding lesson starts now! But don't worry, your government-mandated robot girlfriend will help you. Will help you learn. Okay, anyways, it's important to note that the superscript element should only be used for typographical reasons. If you want to style a piece of text with a raised baseline, you should use CSS instead. To represent chemical equations, you can use a subscript element. Okay. All right, let's speed through this. Primary use is to display a text of superscript above the normal line. Which is the following is an example of using the superscript element correctly. This one. What should be used instead of the sub element when the text is raised purely for visual styling purposes? CSS. All right. Let's go. How do you represent computer code in HTML? The inline code element is used to represent short snippets of code inside text. Common use cases for the code element would be for technical articles and documentation pages. Here's an example of using the code element to show a CSS code snippet. Okay. In this example, CSS color property is used to set the text color to blue. By wrapping this code snippet inside code tags, it communicates the browser the text is a piece of inline code. Okay. The code element is meant to represent a single line of code. If you want to represent multiple lines of code, you'll need to place a code element inside a pre-formatted text element. The pre-formatted text element is used to represent pre-formatted text. Here's an example using a pre-formatted text element to show a CSS declaration. Okay, interesting. When using the pre-element, you'll need to be mindful of spacing because it will display exactly as written inside the HTML document. In the browser, you will see that the code is indented several spaces to the right. If you were to change the indentation... If you were to change the indentation in the code example, then you will see a difference in the indentation on the screen. When it comes to including code examples inside your HTML document, you should use a code element for short inline examples. If you need to display longer code snippets, you'll use the pre and code elements. Okay, snippets of code. This is represent pre-formatted text. And what is the default styling? Monospace font. Okay. Yay! What are the US and Ruby elements? Ruby-chan! Hi! Anyways, what are the US and Ruby elements used for and how do they work? The unarticulated annotation... Unarticulate... No way! So the U actually isn't underlined either? Guys, what next? What next? The H doesn't actually stand for heading, it stands for huge text. What? The unarticulated annotation element, or U element for short, is used to represent inline text that has non-textual annotation applied. Here's an example of using the U element to highlight various spelling errors. Spling? Is spling not a word? I like splinging my shit all over the place. Anyways. An example, the words incorrect spelling and issues are misspelled. The default styling for the U element is black underlined underneath the text. In HTML4, the U element was used for styling purposes. In HTML5, the U element should only be used to indicate the text has non-textual annotation applied. What exactly is non-textual annotation? If you want to style a piece of text with the underline, you should use CSS instead. Okay. The strike-through element, or S. Okay, so the S does stand for strike-through. Okay, my sanity has slightly returned. My sanity has slightly returned learning that S does stand for strike-through. The strike-through element, or S element for short, should be used to represent when text is no longer accurate or relevant. Here's an example. Put the strike-through tags around you when you're no longer accurate or relevant. Put strike-throughs through Nicki Minaj. No kidding. Anyways, here's an example using the S element to show the cancellation of an activity. We put throughs through canceled celebrities. S. Alright. In this example, the first sentence is crossed out because the hike was canceled. Okay. S element should never be used to show changes to a document. Should never just be used to show changes to a document. More appropriate elements in that case would be the deleted text element and the inserted text element. The Ruby element. Ruby time! Hi! The Ruby element represents small text shown above or below the main text. It is usually used to show the pronunciation of East Asian characters. Here's the Ruby element example from the MDN web docs page. Ruby! Okay, so Ruby, and it has the kanji, and then RP, and then parentheses, slash RP, RT, ashta, RT, RP, parentheses, RP, Ruby. Okay, hopefully they're gonna explain all this to me. The RP element, or Ruby fallback, parentheses element, is used as a fallback for browsers lacking support for displaying Ruby annotations. Okay, I see. The RT element, or Ruby text element, is used to indicate text for Ruby annotation. This text is usually used for pronunciation or translation details in East Asian typography. While the Ruby element can be used for other types of annotation, the most common use is for East Asian typography. Okay, so this is non-textual annotation. Also known as underlining that shit. The S element is when it's no longer accurate or relevant. The Ruby one is to show the pronunciation of East Asian characters. Yay! 33 steps so far. We've only been going for about an hour. Okay, we can do this. We can do this. Excuse me. All right. We're gonna make a blog page dedicated to Mr. Whiskers the cat. Oh boy. I can barely contain my excitement. Okay. The header element is used to represent introductory. Okay, we're gonna make okay, inside the body element, add a header element. Okay. Not to be mistaken for the head element. The main title, image, and page navigation. We're gonna add a H1. Oops. With the text. Welcome to Mr. Whiskers blog. Oh my god, I can't type. Blog page. Alright. Below it, we're gonna add a figure element. Inside the figure, we're gonna add an image element. Oh wait, figure. We're gonna add image source with this one. Oh, equation swim with it. Okay. Oh my gosh. All right, and then the alt text will be a cat in the garden. And then we're gonna add the fig caption. Mr. Whiskers in the garden. Oh wait, no, this goes fig, sorry. Fig caption like this. Fig caption. Okay. Cute kitty. He does have some nice whiskers on him. Alright. There should be a way for users to navigate to different sections. The nav element is used to provide navigation links to other sections in the document or other sections in the website. You'll see the nav element used for menus or table of contents. Here's an example. Alright, below your figure, add a nav element. And with a UL element nested inside. An ordered list. Inside, add 3 list elements. Okay. Copy and paste. Alright. Inside each of the LI elements, you need to have an anchor element. For the first anchor, the text should be about, and the ref attribute should be hashtag about. The hash symbol in front of the about represents the ID name, which will be added later on in the project. The second one, we're going to do post, and the third one, we're going to do contact. Okay. So, ahef equals hash about. About. Okay. ahef equals hash posts. And then ahef equals hash contact. Okay. You see that here. Now that you're finished building the page header, you'll need to start adding your main content. Below header, we're gonna add the main content. Main. Okay. So we're gonna add a section with the ID attribute set to about. Okay. I see how this works. Section. Add an H2 with the text about. Alright, so then we're gonna add a paragraph with this text. This is easy, you guys. And then we're gonna add another one. This is easy, you guys. People have AI do this for them. To be fair, it is pretty tedious. To be fair, it is pretty tedious. I can understand why people would use AI to do this for them. Okay, now that you have added the About section, try clicking on the About link to see the page jump down to that section. Alright. Yee! Alright, add another section with the ID set to posts. Okay. And add an H2 with posts. There we go. Looking good. Okay, for the first blog post, you will use an article element. An article element represents self-contained content on a web page. Below the H2, add an article element. Okay, article. Inside the article element, add an H3 element with the text, Mr. Whisker's first day home. Mr. Whisker's first day home. The reason H3 is used is that it maintains the proper structural hierarchy. Okay. Okay. You guys, I'm gonna eat. I have little oatmeal cookies. I'm getting a little hungry. I didn't eat enough because I had that pathetic peanut butter jelly sandwich. And then I had another Lunchable thingy right after work. Mm-hmm. No. But I ordered more protein shakes on Amazon so that if I get hungry during stream, I could just drink it. Okay, one more, you guys. I'm sorry. They're oatmeal cookies. They're like little mini oatmeal cookies. And the Lunchable thing I got, it's not actually a Lunchable. It's a uncured pepperoni and cheese lunch kit. So it was like a Lunchable, but with crackers, pepperonis, and cheese. No raisins. There's too little for raisins, I guess. I like oatmeal cookies with raisins, though. Alright, anyways, back to... Snack time's over. Back to work. Mr. Whisker's blog page isn't gonna code itself. Alright. They didn't even write a blog post. They're gonna have me put lorem ipsum. Alright. So we're gonna add two paragraphs with lorem ipsum text. Okay, so we're just gonna take this. Okay, for the second blog post, you need to add another article element. Inside the article, add an H3. Mr. Whisker's first bath. And then below, we're gonna add two more paragraphs of lorem ipsum. Third blog post, same thing. Mr. Whisker's first birthday party. Oh, I kind of regret that they didn't write a blog post for these. That sounds so cute. Okay. Oh, I forgot to put the article thing. I'm gonna die. Okay, it's not that dramatic. They're gonna shoot me at my desk. Mr. Whiskers himself is gonna pull the trigger. Okay. Now that you've finished adding all the blog posts, try clicking on the post link and you should see the page jumps down to the post section. Yippee! The last component is gonna be the context section. Below the main element, add a footer element. Gives you my footer element. Shows my footer element in your face. Alright, inside the footer element, add a section element. With an ID set to contact. And then we're gonna add an H2. This is contact. Alright. Now we're gonna add an address element. Okay. Sorry, Mr. Whiskers! Yeah! Please, mercy! Please spare the rest of my family! Alright. We'll add a phone number and email address for the blog author. Inside the address, add a paragraph element with the phone number. Alright. 555. 555. 5555. I wonder who actually has that phone number. Does that phone number actually exist? And another paragraph element with the email. fake@email.com. Right. It was funny. I was trying to figure out how to link to my Neopets gallery, which is useless because you can't look at it unless you're logged into Neopets. But anyways, and so like they had an example that was like neopets.com/ whatever, like your username here. And I was wondering if anybody had the username, your username here. So that if like you went, so that like if you like went to that one, it would just bring it to their gallery. That'd be kind of funny. I didn't stop to check if they did, but anyways. All right, to improve the user experience, you want to enhance the phone number so the user taps on it and initiates a call. You're gonna call Mr. Whiskers. Imagine putting your phone number on your cat blog so people can call you and ask about your cat. Anyways, so we're gonna wrap this in anchor element. All right, 555. And then, yeah. You should wrap the text 55. Oh, fuck. My bad. My bad, Chief. Calling them and ask about their there was a... I know I don't talk about, I know I say I don't talk about other VTubers, but I think this is, like, kind of separated. There's a robot PNG tuber who, like, got exposed for being kind of weird. And one of the weird things he did was that he, like, there was, like, a call, like, I guess some girl sent him, like, a picture of her cat, like, her actual cat. And he was, like, on a call with her or something. I don't know why this was recorded. I don't know, but he was like, I like your pussy or something. Like, this is really creepy. This really creepy audio of him being like, yeah, look at that pussy. Anyways, he also would say to people, want to see my cock? And then he would send a picture of a rooster. Listen, he wasn't exposed for being Hitler. He was exposed for being awkward. Anyways, to be fair, all the exposure happened because he was defending a groomer. Moving on. All right, mail, now the email. Yeah, my bad. My bad. Yeah, it was a whole thing, but anyways. It was like some drama on YouTube that I was following for a while. Alright. I think that's right. Yes. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I did the example instead of the fake@email.com. Yay! Alright. Next one. Yay! Now this is the one where I get to kind of like freestyle a little bit, I think, right? Build an event hub. Build an app that is functionally similar to this example. Try not to copy the example project. In this lab, you'll utilize semantic HTML elements to create the structure of a web page. You'll add the content images to make it look like a real event hub. Fulfill the user stories below. Okay. So, we need a header element. The header element goes inside the body. Inside the header, you should have an H1 element that contains the text event hub. And a nav element. Inside the nav, we should have an unordered list with 2 items. Okay, containing links to different sections of the page. The first one should have the text upcoming events, and the second one should have the text past events. So each, okay, here we go. Upcoming events and past events, all right. Upcoming events. And hash past events. Past events. Okay. You have a main element that contains the different sections. So we're gonna put that here. All right, we're gonna have two sections. Section. Oh fuck. Section. Okay. The first section should have an ID with the attribute upcoming events. Oh, wait. Upcoming events. Past events. Okay. So in the upcoming event section, we should have an H2, upcoming events, and then two article elements. Each article should represent an event, and it should have an H3 and a P. Okay. You can add data at the bottom if you like. Well, I don't like. You're gonna have to figure out what the event is yourself. Rixie, Friengineer, Orgy. Friengineers have an orgy amongst themselves. Rixie will watch from a hole in the wall in the adjacent room. All right. Article. To be fair, I really shouldn't be laughing at people cringily saying the word pussy when I write things like this. I'm gonna take the L on that one. However, I don't think I've ever defended a groomer before though, so I think I think in terms of being canceled, I think I'm still on a better foot. Okay. And then the second one, article H3, Rixie's apology announcement. Rixie will apologize for the orgy event, which was inappropriate and did not have enough refreshments. Okay. Article. Alright, past events. Okay, hopefully I have everything here. Past events. H2. Past events. So this one's also gonna have two articles. Excuse me. Okay. Calyx's debut stream. Calyx debuted on YouTube. She is a better streamer and orgy haver than Rixie. Okay, and then we're gonna add an image. Which I'm going to grab from Twitter. Okay. Oh no! Can it not show Twitter images? Maybe? Oh no, I guess I can't show Twitter images? Wait. Yeah, I guess not. What? Really? That's fine. Alright, let me see if I can steal it from Google. Maybe this will work. I don't know. Oh, that worked! That worked! I stole like the thumbnail from Google. It's huge, but it works. Alright. Alt. Professor Jalapeno. Stuck between Calyx's boobs. Alright. Oh my god. This is huge! Holy fuck, why is there so much of a... Is that like the entire image fucking encoded in the URL? What the fuck? Oh, it is Space 64. Oh my gosh. Is that actually the entire image? Encoded in Base 64? Wait, what? Anyways. It worked though. Alright. Article, paragraph, image. Okay, and then article. Alright, and then we'll do the same thing here. Article H3. Rixie roast. Everyone roasted Rixie and she cried. Okay. Let's see if I can get a picture of myself crying. I don't know. Rixie rifle, ooh. Oh, that's so weird. I searched Rixie rifle, ooh, and then it's showing stuff about with me, but then it's showing like similar characters with similar color schemes. Is that a coincidence? Or is that some sort of like AI visual thing? Or maybe it's just a coincidence. Anyways. I don't know, I'll just grab a picture of myself from the VTuber wiki. Okay. Aww, why isn't it showing up? Oh, because I didn't put that at the end. I still not showing up. Huh. I wonder why some images don't show up. Let me try pulling it from here. There we go. Rixie hiding the pain. Okay. Article. Okay, you can use any text for the event description. Okay, I think we're ready. Yay! Alright. Next challenge. We're almost done with the semantic HTML section, you guys. We're almost done with that section. I'm on a roll. Alright. So this is a review. This is a review. Alright, hierarchy, presentational, semantic. You guys, I almost want to just go through. I kind of want to just like skim this and then, yeah, let's see if we can go through this real quick. Header section, navigation, figure, emphasis, idiomatic, language, strong, bring attention to, description lists, block quotation, citations, inline quotes, abbreviations, contact, date and time, ISO 8601. I don't know if I have to remember that part. 8601, 8601. All right. Superscript, subscript, inline code, preformatted text, articulated annotations, Ruby annotations, fallback, strike through, internal links. All right. Let's do it. Let's take our quiz. Let's take our quiz. Oh, no, thank you for the burger saucer. Which of the following is not an example of presentational HTML? Article. Which of the following elements is used to represent a single line of code in HTML? Code. What is the difference between strong and B? B is used to highlight words in summaries, while strong is used to emphasize text as crucial or urgent. I think that's correct. This one. Which of the following is the correct way to emphasize a piece of text? This one. No pressure. Which of the following is used to bring attention to text that is not important for the meaning? Wait. Which of the following is used to bring attention to text that is not important for the meaning of the content? Oh, B. When should you use CSS instead of I or M elements? When you want to display text in italics for presentational purposes only. Which of the following elements is used to represent a span of inline text, which should be rendered in a way that indicates that it has non-textual annotation? U. Which of the following is the correct way to represent a section quoted from another source? Block quote. Which of the following elements is used to mark up the title of a reference creative work like a book? Cite. What is the role of the Q element? A short inline quotation. Which of the following is used to display abbreviations and acronyms in HTML? ABBR. What is the role of the title attribute inside the abbreviation element? It is used to represent, wait. It's help used to understand what the acronym means. Yeah, this one. Which of the following elements is used to represent content information? Address. What is the role of the date time attribute in the time element? It is used to represent dates and times in a machine readable format. Which of the following is used to display a piece of text as a superscript? This one, sup. Which of the following is not a common use case for the use of the subscript element? Variable subscripts, displaying dates, footnotes, chemical formulas. I'm guessing displaying dates. What is the role of the S element? It is used to represent when text is no longer accurate or relevant. This one. Which of the following is not a common use case for the superscript element? Superior lettering, ordinal numbers, exponents, chemical formulas. I think ordinal numbers. I don't know what an ordinal number is. I might be stupid. Chemical formulas. Well, do chemical formulas have superscript in them? They have subscript in them. But do they have... Oh, no. Am I allowed to Google what is an ordinal number? Am I allowed to Google that? Superscript element. Yes. What is an ordinal number? A number defining a thing's position in a series, such as first, second, or third. Oh! Alright, so it's probably chemical formulas then. Because this would be used like first, like one with an ST, right? Okay. I think it would be chemical, because I think chemical formulas, they have subscript, not superscript. So, hopefully that's right. Alright, what is the role of the Ruby element? Ruby-chan! Anyways, small text shown above or below the main text. I think this is the right one. Alright. Which of the following elements is used as a fallback for browsers lacking support for Ruby annotations? RP. Yeah, alright. What did I get? 20 out of 20! Yay! I got 100%, you guys! Let's move on to... Move on to forms and tables. Forms and tables. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So I can take all of your contact information. I can take a form, waifu application form. Alright, how do forms, labels, and inputs work? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alright. The form element in HTML is used to gather user information such as names and email addresses. Okay, form action. Input elements go here, form. Alright. The action attribute specifies where the form data will be sent upon submission. To collect specific information like names and email addresses, you will use the input element. Here's an example using an input element. Alright, enable the interactive editor. Interact with the I was about to say Rixie because I was thinking that's my name because this is to type your name in the field. Enable the interactive editor. Interact with the input element in the preview window by typing in your name in the field. Okay. So I can put Rixie. Alright, form action, input type, text. Okay. Excuse me. Input elements are void elements and do not have closing tags. The type attribute defines the data type expected from the user. In this case, the data would be plain text. To add a label for the input, you could use the label element. Here's an example of using a label element with the text of full name. Click on the text full name in the preview window, and you will see the input go into focus. Oh. To interact with the example, you will need to enable the interactive editor. Okay. Label, full name. Oh, okay. I see. Full name, RX rifle. Alright, by nesting an input inside a label element, you create an implicit association between the label and the input field. The term implicit refers to something that's understood or inferred without need to be explicitly stated. To explicitly associate a label with an input, you can use the for attribute. Here's an example of using the for attribute for an email address label. Type of fake email address. Okay. Label for email. Input type email. ID email. Wait. Oh, I see the difference. Okay. ID email. Okay, I got it. Email address. Rixie at robotswithbigdicks.com. Okay. You have to be verified as a big dick robot to get an email address there. Alright, when using an explicit association, the values of the for attribute and ID need to be the same. In this case, the values are both set to email. The email type in the input provides basic validation for correctly formatted email addresses. If you want to show additional hints to the user about the expected input, you can use the placeholder attribute. Here's an example using the placeholder attribute inside the email input. Alright, I see. Input type equals email. ID equals email. Placeholder equals example at email.com. Okay. For the placeholder text, you want to provide helpful short text to show the format and type of data you expect from your user. In this case, the placeholder text shows the user they must enter a correctly formatted email address. Okay. Explicitly associates a label with the input. Correct value for the type attribute used inside input text. What is the role of the placeholder? It provides a hint or example. Okay. Yay! What are the different types of buttons and when should you use them? The button element is used to perform a particular action when it is activated. Here's an example of a button element with the button text of start game. Other examples of using the button element include submitting a form, showing a modal, or toggling a side menu open and close. The button element has a type attribute which controls the behavior of the button when it is activated. The first possible value for the type attribute would be the button type. Here's an example of using the button element with the button type and the text of show alert. Button type button. Okay, by default the button will not do anything when activated. However, you can add some JavaScript code to make the button interactive, such as by showing an alert in this case. Click on the show alert button to see an alert pop up on the screen. I'm scared. I'm scared! I'm scared of the alert! Ooh, what if it's a scary alert? Ooh. Ooh, I don't know if you guys are gonna see it. You guys might not see it, but I'm gonna click it. Oh, you clicked on the alert button. Okay, it wasn't scary. It was okay. All right. Another possible value for the type attribute is the submit value. Submit. Here's an example of a button element with a submit. So this is for submissive submissive buttons. All right. A button with a submit type. Okay. Button type equals submit form. Okay. Hi Marcus. Hi. Inside this form element, there is a label and input for the user's email address. When the user clicks on the submit button, their data will be sent to the server and processed. The third possible value for the type attribute is the reset value. Here's an example of a form with a reset and submit button. Okay, so if I like just put like random stuff and then I put reset, it'll reset. Button type reset. I might be stupid. Oh, no, wait, I'm not stupid. I mean, I am stupid. But now I'm not, because now I know. I was thinking, how does it know to reset this field specifically? And then I realized it's because it's within the same form. I think that's correct. Because it's in the same form. Alright, in this modified example, a label and input element are used to collect the user's email address. When they click on the reset button, it will clear their input data. It's important to note that reset buttons are usually not the best idea because they could lead to users accidentally resetting their data. Alright, another way to create buttons is to use the input element. The input element also has a type attribute with the possible values of submit, reset, and button. Here's an example of using the input element with the type set to button. Oh. Wait, input class type button. So wait, type input type email. Input type button. Okay. The value attribute is used to show the button text. Okay. So what is the difference between using the input and button elements? Input elements are void elements, which means they cannot have child nodes such as text. I can only have a start tag. On the other hand, the button element offers more flexibility because you can nest text, images, and icons inside of it. Okay. What is a not a valid type for a value for the type attribute inside buttons? Source. What is the role of the type equals reset but inside the button element? It resets the form. What is the other element you can use to represent a button? Input. Okay. What is client-side form validation in HTML forms, and what are some examples? Oh boy, you guys, I always wanted to learn about client-side form validation. All right. When a user fills out a form on your website, it is important that they fill out all the necessary information. By the way, you guys, when I did my Twitch debut, I had the Dr. Fish website set up. It's still up actually, with the fake captchas. Anything that you put in the fake captcha got sent to my email. Luckily, nobody put anything weird. Everybody either just put the captcha value or they put the test. Yeah, but I was like, I hope nobody like just randomly starts like putting stuff in there. Anyways. When a user fills out a form on your website, it's important that they fill out all the necessary information in the correct format. Wait, sorry, I spaced out for a second. When a user fills out a form on your website, it's important they fill out all the necessary information in the correct format. HTML form controls like inputs have a lot of built-in validation you can use to check for invalid data. No! I'm gonna read it! I am! No! Alright, this will help ensure that the user fixes these mistakes before the information is submitted. The term client-side refers to everything that happens on the user's computer, like the part of a website or app you interact with directly. The term server-side refers to everything that happens on the server. Okay, I know this. So includes processing data, running applications, handling requests. While the client-side validation is important, you also need server-side validation for added security. Malicious users can bypass client-side checks, so robust server-side measures are essential. A strong-willed user, a strong-willed server would not accept, would not accept these invalid inputs. You'll learn more about this later. For now, let's take a look at some examples of client-side form validation. One common example of built-in form validation is to use the required attribute in inputs. The required attribute specifies the user needs to fill out the portion of the form before it gets submitted. Here's an example of using the required attribute in an email input. Click on submit form without providing an email address and you'll see a message pop up telling you to fill out the field. Okay. Alright, required. I see. Stupid question. Stupid question. Say you're filling out a form on a website and it like says it wants your address or something, but you don't want to put your address. If you... I guess... This is probably a stupid question. So if this is in the HTML and it says required, if you just like edit the page HTML and remove that, will it just not submit your... Like what would happen? Would it go through... Would you be able to proceed to the next page or no? Probably not, right? Because you're just changing the HTML for yourself. What is the required thing? What's the purpose of it? That it just shows this pop up? I don't know. I'll find out later. Okay. Required. Okay. Each browser will have its own set of styles for showing this alert message. Another advantage of using the email input is that email inputs have some basic validation to ensure a correctly formatted email address. For example, if you type in random words and click submit, the browser will show an alert that an @ sign is missing. Type ABC in the email field and click on the submit button. Okay. It's important to note that browsers only check for basic validation for standard email address. It's up to you to add additional layers of validation. Other forms of validation for email inputs are to use the min length and max length attributes. Here's an example using the attribute validation. I guess I never realized that all of this was just HTML. I mean, I guess it's not just HTML because they just said you have to have other forms of validation too. But I guess I never realized that you could do this in HTML. Type B @ M in the field and click on the submit button. You'll see a message pop up because it doesn't meet the length requirement. Gives you a pop-up because you don't meet the length requirement. min length, max length. Min length 0, max length 3.5. Just kidding. The min length and max length attributes are used to set the minimum and maximum length in characters for the email input. If you don't include the min length or exceed if you don't include the minimum length or exceed the maximum of characters, your browser will show an alert. Okay. Maximum and minimum character lengths for length in characters for input. Required. The browser will show an alert message. Okay. Yay! Different form states and why are they important? In HTML, form controls like inputs can be in different stages or conditions, like a focus state, read-only state, or disabled state. The first state would be considered the default state. The default state is a blank input. That is, the email input looks like when it's first rendered on the page. When the user clicks on a form control or selects it with the keyboard's tab key, that means that it is in focus state. When an input is in a focus state, most browsers will show a blue highlight border around the input. But you can choose to add additional styles in CSS. Click on any part of the white space in the preview window, and then press the tab key to see the focus state. Okay. Another form state is a disabled state. This shows users that input cannot be focused or activated. Enable the interactive editor and try clicking on the email input. You will notice it cannot focus. Similar to focus, you can choose to add additional styles in CSS. Another type is read-only. This is when a form control input is not editable by the user. This is an example of an email input set to read-only. The value attribute is used to set the value. Okay. Okay. Key difference between disabled and read-only is that read-only can be focused while disabled cannot. Alright. What attribute is used to disable input? Disabled. Right? Yeah. What attribute is used to mark input as read-only? Read-only. When does the focus state occur? When an input field is disabled, when an input field is validated and shows an error, when the user clicks on input or selects using a tab key. Okay. Yippee! Let's build our first form. In this workshop, you will practice working with HTML forms. Alright, so inside your body element, you have to add a header element. Header. Inside the header, add an H1. It's going to say hotel feedback form. Below that, we're going to add a paragraph, and we're going to add the paragraph here. Alright, now we're going to add a main element. Oh no, I only have 54 minutes left to stream. Ooh, it's okay. I'm going to make the most of it. Now it is time to add the main element, which will... Okay, I did that already. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for the... Thank you so much for the follow, Fluffy Del Caddy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, welcome. Alright, so the action attribute is used to specify where the form data should be sent when the form is submitted. The method attribute is used to specify the HTTP method to use when sending the form data. The most common methods are get and post. You will learn how to use HTTP methods in later models. Okay, inside your... later modules. Inside the main element, add a form element. Okay. With the action attribute set to HTTPS. Okay, I'll just copy this. Wait. Copy this. Okay, and the method is post. Okay. Form consists of inputs where the user can input their data. You can group related inputs together using the field set element. Oh. Okay, interesting. Field set. No worries. Yes, I do. I do play Pokemon on Neopets. I'm actually playing Pokemon trading card game Pocket tomorrow. I don't know why I said that all out loud. Like, there's not an acronym. Pokemon TCG Pocket tomorrow. So, if you like that game, that's what I'm doing tomorrow. But yeah, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. All right. Let's see. So, we got form, field set. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay. And bring your good decks because I like to do battles with chat if you want to battle. You don't have to, but if you want to, have your decks ready. Alright, let's see. Field set. Inside your form, add a field set. Okay, I did that. Alright, we gotta wait for the little Adney. But yeah, I need to make more Neo friends. I need to make Neo friends because I never... I haven't finished... I just restarted playing Neopets a few days ago, actually. But I'm already, like, full swing into it again. I used to play it back in the day, but... I haven't got my newbie pack yet. I don't have enough Neo friends. They used to give you the... They used to give you the newbie pack for free. Now they don't give it to losers who don't have friends. You got your second Mega Gardevoir. Let's go! I'm excited to play your Mega Gardevoir. Yes, yes, yes. I'll see what harebrained decks that I can come up with tomorrow. But I have some in mind. I have some in mind that I saved on my YouTube Shorts. So we'll see. All right. Let's see. Working with the field set element, it's common to use a caption to describe the group of inputs. You can use the legend element for this. Okay, I'm learning whole new elements that I didn't even learn in the last lessons. All right, so add a legend with the text personal information. Okay. Oh. Okay, interesting. I'm learning all new things right now. Alright, so the four attribute on the label element should match the ID attribute on the input element. This is known as an explicit association. Below your legend element, add a label element with a text name required. Set its for attribute to full name. Then below, add an input element with no attributes. All right. Do we have to add the ID? All right. So type text ID full name. All right. The name attribute is used to identify form data after it's been submitted to the server. Okay. Input type name. Wait. Add a name attribute to the input with a value of name. Okay. I understand. Alright, for your existing input element, add a placeholder attribute with the value of example John Doe. Okay. Okay, good, good, good. And then we're gonna add the required attribute. Okay. Well, we can't test it yet, but okay. Your hotel feedback form should also collect an email address. Start by adding a new label element. Did I not close? Oh, no. Okay, there's the label. Wait. Close the field set. I close. Okay, I see. I understand. I close the form thing. Okay, got it. Alright, label. With the text, email address required. With the label for email. Wait. Why is it? Ooh. Why is it? I mean, I know that I know what I can do to fix that, but they're not telling me to. Did I do something wrong? Do you see that? I know how to fix it, but they didn't tell me to. Should I fix it anyway? They're just gonna leave it like that? Ooh. Alright, let's see if it fixes itself when I add the input. Yeah, do you see that it's here? Can I add a line break to fix it? I don't know. Fix it? I'm worried my code's not gonna pass if I fix it. Here, let me see if it fixes itself when I add the input, but I doubt it. Let's see. Alright. No, look how bad it looks. Maybe they're gonna fix it later. I don't know. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I'll fix it and then we'll see what happens. Here, let me finish this first and then I'll. Alright, let's see. Input type email. Excuse me, I'm sorry. ID equals email. Name equals email. Required. Placeholder. Example at email.com. Yeah, there's no way they... Okay, let me see if I do this, if they're gonna scold me. Okay, it passed. It passed. Oh! Did they take it out? They took it out. What? There's no way it's supposed to look like this. Input elements can have a size attribute. This attribute defines the number of characters that should be visible as these are types into the input. This value of size should be a non-negative integer. If size is not specified or is specified with an invalid value, the input will have the default width set by the browser. Okay. Give the name and email inputs a size attribute of 20. Alright. Input size equals 20. This is so messy. Should have an option to add the age. Start by adding a label element. This is so ugly. It's so ugly, but if I fix it, it just like redoes it. Ooh. Age. Optional. Okay, for age. All right. So input. The min-max attributes are used to set the minimum and maximum values that can be entered. All right, so below your label, we're gonna add an input, the type number, ID age, name age, and then min 3. Yeah, someone who's 3 years old is gonna fill out this form. What if somebody over 100 fills out the form? Then what? Hi, Four Pasta. Hi. Don't pay no attention to how ugly this form is. This is against my will. I tried to fix it and they what's the word? They retconned my changes. All right, anyways. The next section of the form will be responsible for asking the users if they have stayed at the hotel before. Start by adding a field set. And then add a legend. Was this your first time at our hotel? Ooh, it's bothering me how ugly that is. Ooh. Okay, if you want users to select one option from a list of options, you can use a set of radio buttons. In this example, the radio buttons are grouped together by using the same name attribute value. This means that only one radio button can be selected at a time. Below your legend element, add a radio button. Oh. Wait. Below your legend element, add a radio button with the ID set to yes option. So, input type equals radio. ID equals yes option. Oh. Name equals hotel stay. Alright. So then we're going to add a label. For equals yes option. And then I'm say yes. Okay, I think I understand how this works. Okay. So then we're gonna add no option. So input type equals radio. Name equals no option. And sorry, ID equals no option. And name equals hotel stay. And then label equal label for no option. No. Okay. Okay. Yippee! Alright, next section will ask users why they chose that particular hotel. Users will have the option to select multiple options. Start by adding out our field set. Alright. Inside the field set, we add a legend. And it's going to say why... Okay, I'm going to copy and paste this. Why did you choose to stay at our hotel? Because they had a good ice machine. Wow, I'm so spoiled that now I have my very own ice machine, just like a hotel. It looks so ugly. This is the ugliest form I've ever seen on the internet. Alright. Here's an example of how to work with checkboxes. Okay, checkbox time. Alright. The value attribute is used to specify the value that will be sent to the server when the form is submitted. Okay. Below your legend, add an input. The type is checkbox. The ID is ads. Value is ads. Wait, why is it ads instead of name? Am I stupid? And then name is set to choice. Okay, I don't know. Maybe I'm not understanding properly, but it's okay. Value attribute is used to specify the value that will be sent to the server when the form is submitted. Okay, whatever. Below your checkbox input, add a label. Oh, wait. Oh, value. Oh, I understand now. I understand now. I'm stupid. I understand. Okay. Okay. Label for ads. Social media ads. Label. Okay. And then we add another one. We can just take this whole thing and just change it. Change the values here. Alright, so this one's gonna be recommendation. 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 And then label for recommendation. And then this is gonna say recommendation. Oh, personal recommendation. Okay. Recommendation. Nice. We got another one. And this is gonna be location. 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 As they say. And this is gonna be location. And then we're gonna do another one for reputation. This one's gonna say reputation. I don't think anybody does this manually anymore, you guys. But it's a good learning experience. Okay. Yay! Alright, to make a checkbox input checked by default, you can add the checked attribute. Add the checked attribute to the checkbox input. That's shady. Why would I do that? I'm gonna force them to say that we have a good reputation. Oh, I did it on the label. I was like, why isn't it showing up? I did it on the label instead of the input. Okay. But I can uncheck it. Okay. Alright, for the final input and label inside this field set, you will add a checkbox input with the ID value. Address, okay. Alright, so we can just take the same thing. Same thing here. And then we'll just change this to price. 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 And price. But this doesn't need to be checked. Okay. Yay! Next section of the form. Another section! This is boring! Making forms is boring! The next section of the form will provide users with the ability to leave a rating. Oh, this could be fun, maybe. Let's see. Start by adding a new field set element. Okay. You're gonna give Rixie's Hotel 5 stars, right? Okay. Field set. With a legend. Ratings. Alright. Below the legend, we're gonna add a label with a for service. And it's gonna say, how was the service? Was Rixie's service good? Were you serviced well by Rixie? I hope so. I wonder if you can put forms on a Neopets page. You wouldn't. There'd be no way. There'd be no way to. I don't think that they would let you send the inputs to an external server. I don't think that's something that would be allowed by Neopets. So probably not. All right. I'm sure people have pen tested the fuck out of Neopets pages. Like, I'm sure they've already locked down all that shit. Alright, when you want users to make selections from a drop-down menu, you can use the select and options element and option elements. Ooh, we're gonna learn how to make a drop-down menu. That's kind of fun. Alright. The select and option elements. Here's an example of using the select and option elements to create a drop-down for different cities. So here's the label. Select, and then option, 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 select. Okay, so it works kind of like a list. I see. Okay. So we start by adding a select element with a name. What does it say? The name and ID to the service, okay. Alright, inside your select element, add the following 5 option elements with the corresponding values for the option, text, and value attribute. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna do option. Let's copy this 5 times. I'm learning how to make a drop-down menu. That's kind of fun. Alright, so value equals core. Value equals satisfactory. Value equals good. Value equals very good. Value equals excellent. Oh, wait. How many did I add? Oh, wait. 1, 2. Oh, wait. I put this one in the end tag. My bad. Okay. There we go. Oh, wait. Fuck. These are out of order now. Let me take this one. Okay. Then we're gonna add the text to match. Good. Very good. Excellent. Yay! I don't think you guys can see it. I don't think you guys can see the drop-down menu though. Not just because it's behind my head, but because it just doesn't show like an OBS. But I assure you the drop-down menu is working. Alright. To make an option selected by default, you can add the selected attribute to the option element you want to be selected. So we're gonna we're gonna have the excellent one selected, of course, because we want to be biased. Alright. Perfect. Alright, your hotel feedback form should also give users the ability to rate the food. Okay, start by adding the label element. Did I add a label here? Oh, I did. Okay. Alright, label. 4 equals food. How was the food? Once again, they're all squished because they're not letting me add a line break. But it's okay. Alright, so then we're gonna add another select element. With the ID. Food. And the name food. Okay. I think we're almost done. So now we'll do the same thing. We're gonna basically copy the same thing. Let's see. This here. We're gonna just change out the values and stuff. Alright. So the same ones, we just have to change... No, the values stay the same. We just need to change... Actually, I don't know if we need to change anything. I think it's all the same. Okay. Yay! Last section. The last section of the form will allow users to provide any additional feedback. Start by adding a label. For equals comments. That says other comments question mark. Okay. And then if you want users to have more space to write their comments, you can use a text area element. The text area element is a multi-line text input control that allows users to enter text that is longer than a single line. Oh. It can be used to create a comment box, a message input, or other text input that requires multiple lines. And now I never thought of accepting multiple lines of input into the same input before, but I don't know. Maybe that's a module that I should ask Brightful Technologies to add. Alright. Here's an example of a text area element. The rows attribute is used to specify the visible height of the text area, and the columns attribute is used to specify the visible width of the text area. Okay. Below your label element, add a text area element. In the next step, you'll add the necessary attributes. Okay. So it's a void element. It's not a void element. For your text area element, add an ID, comments, and name comments. For the columns attribute, add 30. And for the rows attribute, add 10. Okay. Alright. For the last step in the hotel feedback form workshop, you'll need to add a submit button to the form. Remember that you learned how to work submit buttons in previous lessons. Add a button element with the type attribute set to submit. And the text is submit. Alright, you guys. Here's the ugliest form in the world that I have created. They didn't let me add line breaks, which was stressful, but it's okay. I'll survive. I'll live another day knowing that I did this. Yay! Alright, I did learn a lot. Alright, guys, let's see how much we can squeeze into the next 20... Oh, no. Thank you so much, Toaster. Let's see how much we can squeeze into the next 23 minutes. Thank you so much for the 5 streak! Yay, Cyborg! Hi! Why don't you just download how to code content straight to your software? I don't know how to do that. They didn't give me permissions for that, Cyborg. They don't want me to learn too much. Besides, a lot of my circuitry is all fucked up from when I got implanted with the human heart, so it's a little difficult. But thank you for the question. Yay! 3 streams! Let's go, Marcus! Yay! Thank you so much, Marcus! I love seeing you every day. Yeah, I have to learn like a human. Alright, time for tables! Yippee! What are HTML tables used for, and what should they not be used for? HTML tables aren't used much these days, but they used to be. But as a front-end developer, you should still be familiar with them. Tables are one of the earliest ways devs had for displaying data in a browser way back in the 1990s. I remember using tables sometimes, or at least learning how to use tables. Here's an example of code used to generate a table from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. Okay. As you can see, there's a main table element. Okay. With the ID set to quick facts. Inside it, the table has a table head element, T-head, a table body element, T-body, and a table foot element, T-foot. Are you more of a T-head, T-body, or T-foot guy? Where's the T-ass? Alright, the table head, body, and foot elements can each contain some number of table rows, TR, and each table row can contain a table header, which labels the data in the row. It can also contain some number of individual data cells called table data, TD. All right, let's take a look at this format. So we got table T-head, TR. TR is table rows. TR, TH, medium pay. TD, 6 per year, BR, okay, TD, TR. Okay, I see how it goes. I think. Okay. T-head, TR, TH. Okay, I think I understand how it works. T-header. Okay. Sorry, I'm still like, I'm still digesting. Okay, I think I understand. Alright. Here's the simplest table we can create that includes all these elements. Okay. Actually, couldn't they technically have just one? It could be simpler, right? It could be simpler if they only had one cell. But anyways. As you can see, the data itself is always within a TR. And within the TR element is the TH element with a header and the TD element with data. Some websites will choose use divs to build their own table instead of using a more appropriate table element. While it's possible to display tabular data using a generic div element, it's still better to use table elements. Many years ago, developers wanted to use a table to position non-data elements on a web page. This was never considered the best practice, but you may encounter some code bases where tables are still used like this. Nowadays, developers use CSS, Flexbox, and Grid to lay out their design. Free quick camp will cover these tools in depth later. Okay. In an HTML table, which elements are contained within the TR elements? The TD and the TH element, I think. Yeah. Alright, which of the following are the main sections of an HTML table? T-head, T-body, T-foot. What is the main recommended use of HTML tables? Displaying tabular data. Alright. So, let's see. I think we're gonna build a table now. I think I'll understand it better when I build my own table. Alright, in this workshop, you'll practice working with HTML tables. So we're gonna add a table element. Alright, to add a caption to the table, you can use a table caption element. Caption, okay. Inside your table, nest the caption element. And it's gonna say calculus, final exam grades. First section of the table, you want to group the header content, which represents the column labels for the student's first name, last name, and final exam grade. Okay. The table head element, T-head, is used to group the header content in a table. Alright, so below your caption element, add a table head element. Okay. So table head element consists of a table row element, TR, which contains the table header cells element, TH. Okay, so inside your T-head element, add a TR element, TR. Inside the TR, add 3 TH elements. Okay. first TH element should contain the text last name. Let's see how this all comes together. The second one is first name. And the third one is... what is it? Grade? Grade. Okay. Now that you've completed the head section, it is time to add a table body, T-body. Table body will represent all the student names and their grades. Okay. Add table body. T-body. T-body. To add a student data to table, you will need to use the table row and table data elements. The table data element is used to create a cell in the table. Okay. Inside your table body element, add a table row with 3 table data elements. Alright. The first table data element should contain the last name Davis. The second table element should contain the first name Alex. And the third one should contain the grade of 54. Wow, you fucking flunked. Holy shit. Alex Davis, your days are numbered. Have fun working at McDonald's, Alex Davis. Okay, I think I understand how this works. I think I do. Alright. Alright, now we're gonna add 2 more students. So we're gonna follow the pattern. So we're gonna take the TR, the row, and then the cells. And we're gonna put the different names. Samantha Doe. Alright, Samantha Doe is going to Harvard. She got a 92 on her calculus test. And then Marcus Rodriguez, he can go to a decent college. He got a B. Alright. Marcus Rodriguez, 88. Okay, I understand how this works. Now it's time to add 2 more students. Okay. More copying and pasting. I think a lot of coding is really just copying and pasting in general. Alright, Jane Thompson, 77. Community college. Maybe you could transfer to a better college later, Jane. Okay. And Natalie Williams, 83. You can go to the same college as Marcus Rodriguez. Maybe you guys can date each other. The last section to add to the table would be the table foot, T-foot. Table foot element will be used to display the average grade for all the students in the table. Alright, so add T-foot. T-foot. Inside we're gonna add TR. And we're gonna add 2 TD elements. So the first one's gonna say average grade. And the second one's gonna say 78.8. Man, Alex Davis really dragged the grade down for the whole class, huh? Alright. Table's almost complete, but there's one last thing to add. It would be nice if the TD element used for the average grade would span across 2 columns instead of 1. To do this, you can use the colspan attribute on the TD element. Okay. Colspan attribute specifies the number of columns the cell should span. Cool. Okay. Yay! We made a table! Alright, let's do one more lesson, or unless it takes less than 12 minutes for the last lesson. We'll see how long it takes. Thank you, thank you. Oh no, I'm out of soda. Let me go get some water. I'll be right back. Best table It would be better if everybody got 100 on their test. All right, give me a second. Okay. I got more water. All right, we're not gonna get to CSS today, but it's okay. We made a lot of progress. I learned how to make a form. I learned how to make a table. I learned how to make a drop down. I learned how to make a text box. I mean, a checkbox and a text box. All right, now this is a free form table. Build a book catalog table. Okay. You should create a table element that lists the book information. Okay. So let's do this. Your table should have a table head element with 1 row in it. Okay. The row in your table head element should have 4 table header elements. Alright, so we're gonna take this and copy it 4 times. Oops. Okay. Okay, we've got title, author, genre, publication year. Alright, your table should have a table body element with at least 5 rows. Okay. Wait. Yeah, at least 5 rows. Okay, so we're gonna do TR. Okay, that's 5 rows. Each row should have 4 table data elements that display the book's title, author, genre, and publication year. All right, this is where we get creative. So we're gonna have TD. All right, title. How to throw it back when you have no ass. Yeah. By Rixie Rifle. Genre, twerking. Publication year, 2028. Gonna take me a little while to write it, okay? And then we'll just fill in more. So we just copy and paste that. Technically, we don't need to fill in more. Technically, all the books could be Rixie's twerking book. Okay, let's just make all the books Rixie's twerking book at the same time. All right. Now we're gonna add a table footer. T-foot. You'd buy it? Okay, with 1 row. The row in your table footer element should have a data table, should have a table data element that spans 4 columns, span 4. Total books 5. Okay. Done. Yay! That was fast. I did that really fast. Alright, let's see. I mean, most of that was copying and pasting. Alright. Let's see, guys. I know I said it. I know I said a deadline, but we're almost done with this section. Let's see if we can finish this section. Let's see if we can finish this section. Oh, no. Thank you for the burger. Alright, don't worry. As soon as I'm done with the section, I'll go. Alright? So what is an HTML validator, and how can it help you debug your code? HTML is a very forgiving language. Elements still render even when you make mistakes, like forgetting to include a closing tag. Let's say you have an H2 element without a closing tag. The H2 without a closing tag will still render fine. This happens because your browser uses a parsing algorithm that handles common errors and tries to render HTML as closely as possible to the author's intention. But this could backfire. Let's add a few paragraphs under the existing H2 tag. As a result, the paragraph element without the closing H2 tag, under the H2 without the closing tag, renders as heading 2. This is why you need an HTML validator. An HTML validator is a tool that checks the validity of your HTML code against the standard HTML specifications. It helps you identify errors and warnings in your HTML code, ensuring your web pages are correctly structured and compliant with web standards. Using an HTML validator benefits not only you and your future code reviews, but also anybody going through your code, such as your teammates. There are several HTML validators you can use. The widely accepted one is w3.org. When you visit the site validator.w3.org, you can click on the Validate by Direct Input button and paste in your HTML code. When you click on the check button, then a list of results will display with the errors that need to be fixed. Another HTML validator you can use is jsonformatter.org. You can copy and paste your HTML code, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Why does the browser render tags correctly even when there's an error, like forgetting to close a tag? The browser's parsing algorithm figures out the errors and tries to render the tags as intended. HTML is smart enough to know what the author wants to show. Go with this one. Alright, what is the HTML validator? To check the validity of HTML. Which of it is an example of HTML validator? This one. Okay, next one. How to use the DOM inspector. What does DOM stand for again? Something object. Oh, fuck. Forget. It's okay. When you're building, wait, DOM Inspector and DevTools to debug and build your products. When you're building out your products, you will frequently run into issues where your programs are not working as expected. Programmers often refer to these issues as bugs. The process of finding and fixing bugs is known as debugging. To debug your code, you'll need to use some tools provided by your browser. Two important tools will be the DOM Inspector and the developer tools. They say what DOM stands for. Document Object Model. Thank you. Document Object Model. Alright, the DOM Inspector allows you to inspect the HTML structure of the page you're on. The DOM stands for Document Object Model. It's a tree-like structure that represents the elements on a page. You'll learn more about the DOM in later modules. Developer tools allow you to inspect HTML, CSS, and JavaScript on the page you're on. Let's take a look at the HTML example that contains a small bug in the anchor element. Where's the bug? A ref equals. Where's the bug? When you click on the link, it will lead to a 404 page. A 404 page is an error page. Oh, is it because of the... Oh, because the link is wrong. That's why, I think. All right, a 404 page is an error page that appears when a user tries to access a page that doesn't exist. All right, the intent is for the link to lead to a free camp curriculum. To see what the issue might be, you can use the developer tools. To open the developer tools in your browser, you can right-click on the page and select Inspect. You can also use Control-Shift-I on your PC keyboard or Command-Option-I on your Mac. When you open developer tools in Google Chrome, you'll see a number of tabs. The first tab is called the Elements tab. This tab shows you the HTML structure of the page you're on. The second is called the Console tab. This shows you any errors that might be occurring on the page. In a situation where you have a broken link, you can check the console to see the error messages for that broken link. The common messages that continue to display for the broken link is a 404 error. The 404 error indicates the page is not found. This lets us know that the issue is that the URL in the anchor element is with the URL in the anchor element. When you inspect the ref value, you will see there's a typo. Right now, the console message shows learn against a 404, but the correct URL should be learn. When the link is corrected, it will work as expected. Okay. Yeah. This is how people can fake screenshots. People can fake screenshots of websites by just going into like their inspect element or whatever and like just changing the HTML like in their browser. Anyways, not teaching you how to fake screenshots, but that's a thing that could happen. Anyways, what is the process of finding and fixing bugs? Debugging. What is the tree-like structure? It's the DOM. What is the role of elements? Shows you the HTML structure of the page you're on. Okay. Guys, we're so close. We're so close to the quiz. All right. HTML form. Okay, this is the review. This is a review. I'm not gonna even go through the review. Let's do the quiz. Let's do the quiz. All right, guys. All right, guys. Quiz time. Quiz time. Quiz time. All right, guys. 20 questions. Which of the following attributes is used to specify the URL where the form data should be sent? Action. Which two elements are used to specify a row and a row header in a table? TR and TH. What is the TD element used for? To define a table cell. Wait. Yeah, table cell. Alright, which is the function? What is the function of the col span attribute? Finds the number of columns a table cell should span. Okay. What is the role of the placeholder attribute? It provides a hint for the input fields, I believe. Yes. What is the purpose of the t-head element? It is used to group the body content. It is used to group the header content in an HTML table. Which is the following is an example of an explicit form association between labels and inputs? Label for age. Label input ID age. That should be correct. Yes. Okay. What is an HTML validator used for? Tool that checks the syntax of the HTML code to make sure it is valid. Which element is used to define a cell in a table? TD. Which of the following is a tool that allows you to inspect and modify the HTML structure of the web page? Inspect and modify. Wait. DOM inspector, I think. I'm taking my final quiz for this section. Which of the following is the correct way to group related input fields? Form, field set, caption, label, form, field set, title, form, field set, legend. I think this one's correct. This one. Which of the following is used to specify that an input field is read-only? Read-only. Which attribute specifies input must be filled out before submitting the form? Required. What are dev tools used for? These are tools built directly in the browser and they use to spot any linting issues in your code. These tools are built directly in the browser and are used to automatically format. No. Built directly in the browser are used to help you debug, profile, and analyze web pages. This one. Which of the following is the correct way to disable an input? Disabled. Alright. Which of the following is a valid value for the type attribute? Email. Which of the following is the correct use of the size attribute? Wait. Size. I think it's 10. It's just a number. Which of the following attributes are used to specify size? Okay, sorry. Which of the following attributes are used to specify the minimum maximum number of characters required? Min and max. I don't think it's length. I think it's min and max. If I'm wrong, this one I might get wrong. It might be min max length, but I think it's just min and max. Yeah, I think so. Alright. Which of the following button examples does not... What is it? Wait. Okay. Which of the following button examples does not use the correct value for the type attribute? This one. Okay. Which of the following attributes is used to specify the value for a button? I think it's just this one, value. All right, guys, I'm about to find out if I got this. What did I get? 19. Okay, let's see what I got wrong. Let's see what I got wrong. What did I get wrong? Oh, it was min length. It was min length and max length. It was. I was thinking because I think min and max might be for the value of a number. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Min length and max length. It's still good. It's still good. All right, guys. All right. So next week, we will build a survey form. We will go through the accessibility, and then we'll go to computers, and then maybe we'll start CSS next time, hopefully. Thank you for the burgers. All right, you guys, I'm gonna get going. Don't worry, my next hour will be productive. It feels weird ending after 3 hours because, although, you know, when I first started streaming, I would only stream for what, like 2 hours at a time or an hour and a half. But I gradually have gone up and up. But if I don't cut myself off, eventually we're going to have 12-hour streams every day, and I'm never going to sleep my entire life. So I need to have some sleep mode. But, alright, guys. Let's find someone to raid. And I will see you guys again tomorrow for Pokemon TCG Pocket. I'll bring some fun decks, and yeah, we'll battle each other. Alright. Yes, thank you so much. I know the coding ones can be a little bit on the boring side, but I hope that you guys still enjoy just kind of chilling out with me, and maybe you learn something too. Thank you. All right, let's see. Who are we going to raid today? Let's raid... What is this? Game. Okay, they're in an ad, but I'll wait until the ad's over. I've never seen this game. Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. That's the ad. Okay, mail on stream. No, no, that was the ad. For some reason, I'm getting a men's hair loss ad. For men to regrow their hair. I don't know. You learned about French in your sex orgies? No! It was just an example. Ooh. Alright. Alright, that should be over. I'm going to raid Yancha Gogo, who is playing Wizardry Variants. Yep. Alright. And Yancha is very beautiful and has a womb tattoo. I'm just noticing. Okay, thank you everybody. Thank you Twitter Ponies, thank you Pax, thank you Toaster, thank you Cyborg, thank you Marcus, thank you For Pasta, thank you Blue, thank you Lurkers, big kiss, thank you Lexi, thank you, big kisses, bye bye.